Okay. This right here is just a readout of C++ All-In-One For Dummies, 3rd edition. It's written by John Paul Mueller and Jeff Cogswell. Continuing on from Book 4, Chapter 5. A feature of this is that it has 6 little mini books in this big book. Alright, I'm just going to read for 30 minutes. Starting 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 now. Okay, deriving templates. If you think about it, you can involve a class template in a derivation in at least 3 ways. You can derive a class from a class template, derive a class template from a class, and derive a class template from a class template. Or you could do none of these 3 items. But if you want to find out about them, read the following sections where we show you how they work. Deriving classes from a class template. You can derive a class from a template, and in doing so, specify the parameters for the template. In other words, think of it like this. If it's not too roundabout, from a template, you create a class. And from that created class, you derive your final class. Suppose you have a template called media holder, and the first 2 lines of its declaration look like this. Template, type name space T, class, media holder. Then you could derive a class from a particular case of this template as in this header for a class. Class, book holder, colon, public, media holder, book. Here we created a new class based on media holder called media holder book. And from that class we derived our final class, book holder. The class from template example shown in listing 5-6 is an example of the class media holder, and the listing includes some good books and magazines to add to your reading list as well. Hi. I don't know if it's Cian or Chian, but hello. Listing 5-6, deriving a class from a class template. I show these parts so I don't have to say every little thing. So if you're at all interested in looking at the code, you should look at the code. Hashtag include IOStream, using namespace standard, class book, public, string name, string author, string publisher, book, string a name, string an author, string a publisher, name, a name, author, an author, publisher, a publisher. Class magazine, public, string name, string issue, string publisher, magazine, string a name, string an issue, string a publisher, name a name, issue an issue, publisher a publisher. Template, type name T, class media holder, public T star array 100, int count, void add T star item, array count equals item, count plus plus. Media holder, colon, count 0. Class book holder, colon. Dot public media holder, book, public, enum, genre, enum, children's, sci-fi, romance, horror, mainstream, how not to, genre enum, genre of all books, class magazine holder, colon, public media holder, magazine, public rule, complete set, int main. See, I'm not sure. Or is it Sean? Why you're awake, but maybe it's just early where you are. And also, school? That's usually a thing. I know I have to go to sleep soon because I have to go to school. Of course, it's so I could go work there, but anyway. Listing 5-6 continued. And yeah, it's pretty cool. C++ is a fun time. Magazine holder, D1. D1.add new magazine, Dummies Life, Volume 1, Number 1, while E. D1.add new magazine, Dummies Life, Vol 1, Number 2, while E. D1.add new magazine, Dummies Life, Vol 1, Number 3, while E. D1.complete set equals false. C out, D1.count, inline. Book holder, BH. BH.add new book, C All-In-For Dummies. Gookinan, while E. BH.add new book, Car Smashing for Dum Dums, Woody and Buzz, while E. BH.add new book, Turning Off the Computer for Dum Dums, Wrath of Andy, while E. BH dot genre of all books equals book holder, colon, how not to, C out, BH dot count, inline, return 0. Deriving a class. Oh, I'm reading from C++ All-In For Dummies, 3rd edition. I'm sorry you're sick. Deriving a class template from a class. A template doesn't have to be at the absolute top of your hierarchy, the total king of the hill. No, a template can be derived from another class. That's not a template. The brain acrobatics work like this. When you have a template and the compiler creates a class based on this template, the resulting class will be derived from another class. For example, suppose you have a class called Supermath that is not a template. You could derive a class template from Supermath. The template from class example shown in listing 5-7 demonstrates how you can do this. Oh, thank you, Renardine. I was wondering if you were going to make it. I was like, oh, was I just assuming he was going to come to this one? Thank you for the apple. Listing 5-7, deriving a class template from a class. Hashtag include IOStream, using namespace standard, class Supermath, public int IQ, template type name T, class supernumber colon public supermath, public T value, T ampersand add to T another, value plus equals another return value, T ampersand subtract from T another, value minus equals another return value, void increase IQ supermath, ampersand inst IQ plus plus, int main, supernumber, int with the curly brackets on the other side. First dot value equals 10, first dot IQ equals 206, C out, first dot add 2, 20. In line, super number float, second dot value equals 20.5, second dot IQ equals 201. C out, second dot subtract from 1.3, in line. Increase IQ first, increase IQ second, C out first dot IQ, in line. C out second dot IQ, in line. Return 0. Note something really great that we did here. The base class is called Supermath, and it has a member called IQ from Supermath. We derived a class template called Supernumber that does some arithmetic. Later, we put an incredible IQ inflating polymorphism into use in this function. Void increase IQ, Supermath, ampersand inst.IQ plus plus. Note that this function takes a reference to Supermath. Because the supernumber class template is derived from Supermath, that means any class we create based on the template is in turn derived from Supermath. And that means that if we have an instance of a class based on the template, we can pass the instance into the increase IQ function. Remember, when a function takes a pointer or a reference to a class, you can instead pass an instance of a derived class. Deriving a class template from a class template. If you have a class template and you want to derive another class template from it, first you need to think about exactly what you're doing. Not like what you're doing spending all your days programming when you could be out enjoying the sunshine. Rather, what we mean is, what process takes place when you attempt to derive a class template from another class template? Remember that a class template isn't a class. A class template is a cookie cutter that the compiler uses to build a class. If in a derivation, the base class and the derived classes are both templates, what you really have is the following. 1. The first class is a template from which the compiler builds classes. 2. The second class is a template from which the compiler will build classes that are derived from classes built from the first template. Now think about this. You create a class based on the base class template, then you create a second class based on the second template. Does this automatically mean that the second class is derived from the first class? Nope. Here's why. From the first template, you can create many classes. Now, if you create a class from the second template, which of those many classes will it be derived from? To understand what's happening here, take a look at the template from template example shown in listing 5-8. To keep the code simple, we put the jokes aside and just gave the identifiers basic names. And notice that we commented one of the lines out. If you're typing this, go ahead and type that line in too, with the comment slashes, because we want you to try something in a moment. Listing 5-8. Deriving a class template from a class template. Has to include IOStream using namespace standard, template type name T, class base public T A, template type name T, class derived : public base T, public T B, void test int, base int, start inst, C out, inst gets A in line, void test double, base double, start inst, C out, inst gets A in line, int main, base underscore int, base underscore double, derived int, derived underscore int, derived underscore double, test int, ampersand base underscore int, test int, ampersand derived underscore int, test double, ampersand base underscore double, test double, ampersand derived underscore double, 2 forward slashes, test double, ampersand derived underscore int, return 0. Now compile the application. The preceding example has 2 functions, each taking a different class, and each class based on the first template called base. The first takes base int star as a parameter, and the second takes base double star as a parameter. Remember, if a function takes a pointer to a class, we can legally pass the pointer to an instance of a derived class. Now note that we created this variable, derived underscore int semicolon. And we pass the variable to the function that takes a base int, and it compiles. That means derived int is derived from base int. In the same way, derived double is derived from base double. Now, just to make sure that this is correct, if you look at the commented outline, you should see that if you uncomment the line, it should not compile. Go ahead and try uncommenting the line, test double, ampersand derived underscore int. When you do this and you try to compile the listing, you see this message. Error, cannot convert derived int to base double for argument 1 to void test double base double star. I got that error so many times back in fall. 2023, so many times. Anyway, I cleared them up eventually. So many errors, you just gotta figure out how to do it. Wow, I wish life was just a little bit more like computer science sometimes. I actually managed to figure out how to do the troubleshooting. Took a while, but I managed. I'm so much slower with real life stuff. The stuff that counts. Alright, here we go. Thus, you can't pass a pointer to derived int to a function that takes a pointer to base double. That's because derived int isn't derived from base double. Yet it would appear from the code that the template is derived from the template of base double, but that's not true. Here's why. Remember, templates are not derived from other templates. You can't derive templates because templates are not classes. Rather, templates are cookie cutters for classes, and the class resulting from a template can be derived from a class resulting from another template. Now that we've just cleared that up, look closely at how we declare the second template class. Its header looks like this. Template, type name T, class derived, :public, base T. The clue here is that the derived template takes the template parameter called T. Then the class based on the template is derived from a class called base T. But in this case, T is the parameter for the derived template. See what happens if we create a class based on derived, such as in this one, derive int x, semicolon. We just created a class called derived int. Then in this case, the parameter is int. Thus, the compiler replaces the t's so that base t in this case becomes base int. And so derived int is derived from base int. And that's how this template derivation stuff works. Remember, you derive a template class from another template class. Remember, when you derive a template class from another template class, you actually make use of the template parameter, and that gets passed into the base class template as a parameter. Templatizing a function. A function template is a function that allows the user to essentially modify the types used by a function as needed. For example, take a look at these two functions. Int absolute value int absolute value int x. If x is greater than or equal to 0, return x, else return negative x. Float absolute value float x. If x is greater than or equal to 0, return x, otherwise return negative x. If the user of the functions needs to take the absolute value of an integer, he or she would use the absolute value int function. But to take the absolute value of a float, he or she would instead use the absolute value float function. What about double or some other numerical type? But instead of having a separate function, But instead of having a separate function for double and a separate function for every other type, we would suggest using a template as in this. Template, type name t, absolute value, tx. If x is greater than or equal to 0, return x, else return negative x. Now you need only one version of the function which handles any numeric type, including double. The users of the function can effectively create their own versions of the function as they need them. For example, to use an integer version of this function, we just put the type name int inside angle brackets of the function name. We call the function int n equals -3, C out, absolute value int n in line. And if we want to use the function for a float, we just do that. Do this. Float x equals -4.5, C out, absolute value float x in line. Note how we declare the function template itself. The real difference between the function template and the regular run-of-the-mill function is in the header. Template, type name t, absolute value tx. First we put the word template, then we follow it with any number of optional spaces, and then an optional angle bracket. That is a less than sign. Following the angle bracket, we put the word type name, a close angle bracket, that is a greater than sign, and then an identifier name. Most people like to use the name T since it's the first letter in type. So that's what we did. Being wants to follow the crowd. Then we put in the rest of the function header, which taken by itself looks like this. absolute t absolute value tx inside parentheses. Remember, t represents a type. Therefore, this portion of the function header shows a function called absolute value that takes t as a parameter and returns t. So if we create a function based on this template by using an integer, the function will take an integer as a parameter and return an integer. Remember, t is basically a placeholder for a type name. So when the compiler encounters a line like this, C out absolute value float x in line, it creates a function based on the template substituting a float anywhere it sees t. However, if you have two lines that use the same type, as in this, C out absolute value float x in line, C out absolute value float 10.0 in line, the compiler only creates a single function for both lines, and these two lines don't need to be one after the other. Overloading and that's a good place. Hey, Ryan already, are you still here? Oh, okay. So, yeah, I'm gonna try, I guess next week, start putting some applications in for some tech jobs. But I'm also gonna see if I can get any response from the two things I applied for the substitute teaching things. Like, effectively, they're like staffing agency for substitute teachers. But one of the benefits, at least for the one that I was got the ball rolling with more firmly, is they work with different school districts. So I don't know, that might be helpful. I'm not sure. But between the holidays, like Martin Luther King Jr. Day and President's Day weekend, there's at least a 3-day weekend for that, and then spring break's a thing, and so it's like, uh, try to figure this out before school year ends. Because if I don't figure out a tech job to do, then I gotta figure out a summer job to do. So that's pretty much where that's at. Um, so far I've been managing to do it every day, but that's not to say that that's gonna keep happening though. Yes, hi. This isn't dancing right now, but I was dancing earlier, and I plan to be dancing more tomorrow during Wednesday 11 Live. Well, oh yeah, I'm good. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed the last time. Yeah, I'm good. Just not a fan of this light in my eyes. It's called, ow, my eyes are hurting. But if I don't have it on, then I have the greens. So, better to have it on. I didn't want to change out. I'm like, let me just keep my chill mood lighting that I enjoy. All right, I suppose. Just apply to everything. Thank you, Liberty Bible Institute 100. Well, maybe, but I don't know. The green might be fine, but I just want it. Okay, so that's time. But I kind of had to finish reading anyway because I knew there was no way I was going to be able to get through that section in enough time, and I'm not trying to do too long a stream because I do have to get some sleep. So, yeah, but that's the thing. Like, am I being too presumptuous to assume I would get an interview? Because I keep feeling like my resume is not like good enough for that. And I was talking with my cousin toward the end of last year to try to like get some tips, but then we still have to talk more about that, I guess. But also I'm like, well, I kind of need to start applying, so it's like just let me just do a quick and dirty version, or even what I had before we were talking, and just see if that does anything helpful. I don't know, but I gotta do something because I'm getting tired of this. Because I'm like, I've been working really hard to get somewhere to be in a better financial situation, and my boyfriend is not seeing me having improved that situation. So he's like, was that a bunch of like hogwash effectively? So it's like, okay, it's kind of annoying that things didn't work out a bit more simple with figuring out job stuff after graduation. Maybe I was just living in La La Land at the time, thinking it would be a simpler time. But either way, no point in freezing in my tracks. Yeah, maybe. It's possible. It's just, my main thing is I don't have any actual, um, I don't have any actual experience. Like, let me see this. When it comes to like tech on the job stuff, I do get a lot of work doing tech things on my job. Like, I've been seeing things roll out as far as audiovisual things, like nothing like compared to what you do, of course, but like when it comes to like just like the smart TVs that they have, and then how the sound systems in the classrooms. And so I'm usually like having to troubleshoot those because that's what happens when you deal with schools that don't necessarily have budget, and or they cut back on IT. Um, so it's like a long list of schools that need help, and it takes a while for IT to make its way over there, sort of thing. That's perfect. Okay, well maybe I just need to like talk about that. Like I don't really, whenever I think about like stuff that I do for my school job, it's usually about the teaching or the assisting, but I don't usually go too much into how I try to like do the troubleshooting, or like I even try to train people like, oh yeah, this box light, yeah, this is what you could do with this. So here's some features. Oh, check this out. Yeah. Okay, so that'll be something to put on a resume for troubleshoot tech. Okay, I guess I gotta start somewhere. Because I do know that I just kind of got just frozen my trucks last year, and the one thing that I did get a job. I did manage to get a job last year, but it was kind of a backstep because I was making less money, than as a sub. So it was kind of, I was enjoying being part of the school community. That was awesome. But then my car broke and I was like, well, sorry. I have to not do this and go back to subbing so I could try to like fix my car. Yeah, that's true. That's the thing I gotta do, be better about is like, cause even today with what I put in, I'm like, I don't. It's just so annoying having to like reword resumes. But that's true. You gotta tailor specific. And my cousin, he was saying like AI is now a factor for how a lot of first pass when it comes to what jobs make it in front of. No, I'm not gonna join the army. But as far as what jobs make it in front of human eyes, first there's this whole thing going on. Don't BS on your resume. See, that's the thing. I'm not into BSing, but I'm also kind of boring, apparently, from what my cousin was saying. Because I can do things. I just am pretty blasé about like what I was thinking. Like some of the things that I had to code for school projects just seemed like whatever for me. But he seemed like super hyped about it. But I'm just thinking like whoever is into software engineering, they're gonna be like, ah, that's whatever. So I just didn't see what the hype was. Oh, are you sure? You don't seem too boring. Oh, I haven't really gotten that impression. Wow, I cannot do this light very long. This is even the. Oh, hold on. I have this option. Okay, I think that's a little better. Oh, yeah. Huh? How am I boring? Oh, no, just the light. The bright. I'm telling you, I didn't used to have dry eye syndrome, but then I start the grad school thing and I'll get all that screen time. Or let's just see, even if I had it, it just wasn't so pronounced. Then how am I boring? No, I'm saying like I was saying that the thing, it just the thing that I was able to decode, I thought was a boring thing. So what I had in my description in the resume just was like wasn't as eye catching as I guess it could have been, is what my cousin was saying. Either way, I gotta start back to that. Just figure out. But the last time I got depressed because I was looking at like potential jobs that were like that said perspective, and I just didn't seem like there was like one that I saw that I actually had the what they were looking for, but everything else was like so much crap I didn't have experience with yet, or like not enough to be able to like be confident about. Oh, okay, I hear you about coding being boring. I find it a fun time. It's like you make things and you make things happen and you make a computer do a thing, and not just a computer, like you can get robots and stuff in the mix. That's why I was kind of interested to take. That's true. That's not necessarily a bad thing. No is not the worst thing, ever. 'Ever. 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 Well, I'm gonna go ahead and go to sleep because it's 10:04 and I gotta get up at 4 something. But before that, I have to eat some. Huh? Oh, you quit your job on December 9th? Wow. 15 hours. Oh, over 50. Well, I'm sure you had a really good reason. Well, congratulations. You didn't stay out of work too long. Oh, okay. That's good to know. I mean, just a little bit over a month. Okay, that's not too bad. Granted, you've got a ton of experience, I'm sure. But I guess school's not entirely not experience. Oh, really? See, I've had a lot of jobs too, but not usually. I don't know if I would consider that a good thing. I think I've got more jobs. I think I've had more jobs than you, technically. I'm not I'm not in the mood to do a count right now. That's why I enjoy doing the subbing because it's like having a new job every day because effectively it is, but you don't have to, I don't know. It's nice. It definitely has its perks, but unfortunately, the 9 months a year, that not so much. Kind of have to figure out how to figure out those other 3 months. All right, 25 plus jobs. Well, all right, that's not too bad. Plus, I could still do the teaching stuff and the subbing, whatever in the mix. No, I hear you. That's definitely a no. I'd rather just continue trying to get the tech job or a summer job or something. But anyway, starting next week, I'm going to get back to looking into and doing things with that. Hi there, Kazam. Howdy. I'm just about to close out this stream and get some salad, sort of, and then get some sleep. How are you doing? Well, all right then. I need this off. Ow. Okay then. Kazam is well. Awesome. You're welcome. All right. I'm gonna go because it's definitely late for me because I have to get up at 4. Oh, I'm doing good. Today's a good day, but tomorrow I have to go back to work, so I have to get up at 4, I think 15, something like that. So I'm gonna go get some salad and do my nighttime routine and get some sleep. But I am planning on streaming again tomorrow for Wednesday 11 Live. And then after that, doing another brief C++ all-in-one for dummies stream. Yeah, positive vibes. Sounds good. All right, good night, Kazim. Good night, Rainer Dina. Good night, anyone who I am missing. And yeah, anyone might check this out in the future, whenever, wherever, whatever, however. Just make the most of it. That's the important part. Bye bye.